Why, hello, YouTube. We are Critical Failure, and I'm Edward Burns. And
I am Brandon Wynn.
Yes, you are. And today, we're going to be talking about the Blood Hunter. What are we going to be talking about the Blood Hunter?
We're going to be talking about Hunter's Bane firstly, Edward.
Alright. You know what Hunter's Bane does?
I know it's this poison or potion of sorts that essentially turns you into a blood hunter. I'm assuming it alters your state of mind and several other things like your body structure to give you this sort of magical essence dealing with your blood. I know stats-wise, it gives you the ability to track Fey Fiends and the Undead. It gives you...
Yeah, you gain advantage on tracking, and you also gain advantage about recalling information on them.
Yeah, and I know for a fact in our campaign when we ran it for Kyla and Va, we made it a poison. And please explain what I did with this poison, Edward.
You decided it'd be a great idea, after you saved the child, to give this child this poison that you knew full well could kill him.
I talked to the child first. Straight up. Not gonna lie. I told him, this can make you stronger. And the kid's name was Samuel. And he's like, okay, I'll do it.
You did not tell him that it would kill him, though.
Not whatsoever. I told someone else that it could kill him, and I almost died for that. Almost actually did. I think he almost put me at a 1 hit point left. But, yeah. Very bad idea on my end. But, to continue, what else does it do?
Once you reach the 11th level, you can, you suffer your Crimson Right damage, so you hurt yourself more because of the internal scarring, and it allows you to...
is this with your level, like how Crimson Right is now?
Yeah, it would have to scale up with the Crimson Right damage. Whatever your Crimson Right damage is at that current time point is what you roll against yourself, you hurt yourself that much, and then you'll gain advantage on insight and intimidation checks.
When you're level 20, so you're taking 20 hit points off of yourself to do that? Or is it just the damage itself?
No, you just roll the Crimson Right die.
Okay. That's what confused me, because it used to be like that just to be able to Crimson Right, which we're going to talk about here in a second. And now it isn't. It's your Blood Hunter level, if I'm correct.
Yes.
Alright. Now let's get into the Crimson Right, which is essentially... This is how I see it. You coat in your blade with blood by cutting yourself, in some way, shape, or form.
Yes, that's how you done it, and when I've made a couple characters, I've done it to where it's not necessarily you cutting yourself all the time, it's more just drains your life force temporarily.
I know that's how you put it, but I know Taliesin Jaffe, if that is how you say his last name, who played Mollymock in Critical Role, that's how he did it, because he would cut the sides of his neck.
Yeah, I just feel like it would be very inconvenient. You just be bleeding a lot and you have to worry about getting infections and stuff like that later on. So I prefer doing a life force scenario.
I like how you're, and this is more for our play style of, you say you have to worry about infections, into which if it was a real life standpoint I would see that, but you say that and I just imagine you now having to implement an infection type of saving throw for
stuff.
Constitution.
Like, they do have disease in D&D. We just haven't used any of them yet.
Let's talk about the Crimson Right damage types there are. If I'm correct, there's Thunder, Ice, and Fire. Am I correct?
For the Primal Rights, you're kind of correct, except for you replace the Thunder with Lightning, and then...
It's Lightning, sorry.
That's the
Thunder
Primal Rights.
is the, whatever...
Esoteric.
Weird, yeah.
And then you have Psychic and Necrotic damage.
So let's talk about the Primal Rights first, because I switched them around by accident. Lightning damage. If I'm correct, that's your favorite.
Yes, my favorite of the base Crimson Rights is lightning damage, and I think your favorite is actually fire.
Out of the current ones, yes. And this is why I say current. I am very salty at the fact that Matt Mercer, and mostly probably because of the community and other people near him, decided to take away Rite of the Ruin, which was a very big freaking deal to me, because Rite of the Ruin gave you acid damage. I really like the idea of acid damage as a Crimson Right, because I don't see many, or at least what we've played, creatures with acid resistance and dealing for damage. I don't think you've ever thrown a Black Dragon at us either.
Yeah, I have. You weren't there, though, but I threw it at Prescott's character, Roland, Samuel, and Kip, and it used its frightful presence, and it scared Roland away.
Oh, that's when they were in the Dwarven place.
This little child who's like 12 or so slayed the dragon by himself, and it was an ancient dragon. He killed it. He finished it off.
To be fair, this black dragon was attacking Estonia, if I'm correct.
Yeah,
which we made a world for this campaign. But I remember that aspect now because I remember continuously metagaming, harassing Roland for it. Because I think that's when I was level 15 or whatever level that you can't be frightened anymore. Because I remember I just recently got that ability. I don't remember what level it is, but...
it's 14.
Is it 14?
Yeah.
Okay, so I would have perfectly had it. But I remember he was dashing away. And I think you had it to where it was somewhat like Critical Role's... if you watched the first episode of their first campaign, they're in that one place where it's like kind of like a weird... cylindrical down spiral of a town.
Yes, because the dwarves were fighting off an orc army outside their mountain.
And like you said, there were like layers to the place, so that's what I imagined when I saw that. Mm-hmm. But at the time, I had Crimson Pride of the Ruin. Let's get back to that. And I just disliked the fact that they took it away. And if I'm correct, it was because it didn't fit well with the character.
Well, a lot of people in the community said they didn't really fit the whole like primal aspect of that primal like damage type. Like, you know, you got
dragons
fire.
Breathe acid, okay? That's primal enough. I don't care who you are. If a creature can do it, so can you.
But one of the problems I have with Primal Rights is you get all three anyways, and it's a very limited selection.
I also think that was one of the reasons why I kept grabbing it, because I would ignore fire at the first time, because I know we were dealing with demonic and devil entities in this campaign, into which I think most of them have fire resistance, if not all.
I think so.
So I was like, we're going to hell. Bad idea to do this. Bad JoJo. So I know for a fact I was trying to steer away from that.
I know they used to have one of the special rights that you go and get one of them used to be force damage, but that got taken away.
That was Estonia. Not Estonia. Estric, whatever you said earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It got taken away because almost nothing resists force damage. And a lot of people are like, that's overpowered.
That's really funny because one of the Mind Flayer abilities that I had with Cthulhu was the Mind Flayer blast area thing that I tried using against my brother's character when he beat my ass. And that did force damage. I remember that.
That should do psychic damage. If it's the Mind Blast, it deals psychic damage, and then you can stun.
If I'm correct, it was force. I don't remember. I have to go back to that. That's a character sheet that's possibly around here. I swear it was force damage. But... continuing back to the Blood Hunter, what are those? It's
also,
three.
We forgot one of the rights. If you pick Ghost Slayer as your archetype,
Right of the Dawn.
Yeah, you get radiant damage.
Why don't we leave that for when we go into archetypes?
I just figured we should mention it right now in the...
That's a really good idea to mention it now. You're right, and it's radiant damage, into which in your upcoming campaign, that's what I will definitely be using a lot once my other character comes into that.
What's your favorite out of the special Crimson Rights?
Does that include all the ones?
The one where you only pick one, the Essus part.
Does that include Force? Like back when that was involved, or do you want it to current edition?
How about like yes, and then how about with how it is now?
So, if I'm correct, I liked Force at the time because I remember us discussing the fact that nothing really had that as resistance, so I know I used that.
Because
that was more of a metagaming for me.
Just because, not even metagaming, just make like a laser sword.
I never thought of it that way.
Because
I thought of it more of like the Force aspect of Star Wars, where it's like I hit something and it just deals more damage, like Metachlorian's bullshit.
Yeah, Force is like pure just magic damage, so I always envision it as like a purple like energy.
Okay.
That's how I view it. My favorite, though, with just the pace, is Right of the Dead.
So that is necrotic damage.
Yeah, and the way I imagine it is it's like a black and white flame on your weapon. That's just how I imagine necrotic damage in general, is black and white flames. As to where Radiant's like a golden, vibrant flame.
I take it as both, like switching it to where it's like I see necrotic as like a greenish black flame, like Hades from Disney's Hercules, and then Radiant as like a pure white flame.
I could also see that because sometimes I also visualize necrotic as a greenish color scheme. But for like the Right of the Dawn, with just imagining on my sword, I imagine it's like the black and white flame, like in Naruto, how they had that one special fire that never goes out until the target's burned.
Amaterasu.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. Which was named after the sun god, if I'm correct, in Japanese mythology. Someone will, like, remind me of that later in the comment section if we ever get someone to comment on this. But anyways, that's all the time that we have. We'll get to you back on the next episode of the Blood Hunter series. Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.